going on? Move the mouse back in City Skylines, Town Island map of Honu. It's Let's Play Season 12, episode number 16. I'm pretty sure this is the point where I lose track of episodes for sure. Keeping track of the seasons at least. Although that number is getting up there. It's pretty crazy. What are we doing today? Well, I kind of wanted to revisit a little bit of what happened last week, and there was something that really bugged me in the edit. You can probably see it from right here. One, just ignore this giant fire happening in the background. That should be fine. Park maintenance building. Okay. Here's the thing that was bugging me about this is these repeated buildings. And some, I'm sure some of you noticed, some may not even think about it, but like, look at how many times this building gets repeated, right? This corner unit in here. So I wanted to come in here today, and this is definitely flexing creative muscles. We clean this up a little bit. This bugged me a little bit in the edit too. I did this little extra nudge here. There we go. Just the way that the, like from there to there, see that bulge in the sidewalk? I don't know, maybe that bulge makes sense. Maybe that would kind of bulge out that way, but it would also bulge out. Whoop, undo. Whatever. Okay, that's not what we're here for. Come on, mouse, you're already. I want to get rid of some of these corner units. So let's come in here. This is Find It. I already started poking around in here a little bit, so by default, it's just showing you everything. We can come into either ploppables or growables, and we're going to sort based on low density. Now let's see if corner is a thing. It is, and look, there's a fair share of corner buildings. There's not a ton in the low density commercial, but low density. What do you call it? There's two ways. So technically, there's two corners here. How you drag the building, like which street you drag it to, will help which corner it's going to point to. So let's come in here and let's replace a bunch of these corner units with our own little take on it, just so that we don't have that same texture popping up and appearing everywhere. I think this might be, yeah, that was the same building. So we're going to move some people out in this process, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. But just so we have less repeating buildings. Let me hopefully let me delete this building. Let me explain this again so that hopefully it makes sense. We can see this a lot easier now. So if I come into this lot and I drag down, it's going to turn the corner of the building that way, the way that you would think this corner is supposed to be. If I drag into the right, like, you know, you wouldn't have the flat side of the building there. That's wrong. So we want to orient it that way. Now, console players thinking like, oh, that's great. I don't have mods, so how does that help me? Well, it works with pretty much any building. So this works for uniques. This works for city service buildings. This is probably a bad example. But like if you take things like the fire station, I can put it on this corner, but I can have it orient one of two ways based on which way I drag it. And that may not seem that important. I know I've talked about this. It helps with fire coverage and response. If I have a fire station where this Healthy Weeds is, it can leave and go right. It can't leave and go left. It can't go help out with a fire up here. It has to come down, turn around, and U-turn somewhere or go around the long way because that center median prevents it. I think we just won and lost a game in different sports at the same time. So, you know, how does that really change things up? Doesn't change it that much, but it already is a lot less visual repetition here. Let's see if we can remember where we were at. Let's jump to this one. Get a couple more of these units in. Is that a corner unit technically? It's called corner, but that is definitely not a corner unit. So let's just demolish that one. And I don't know if this will work with the ploppable, growable. What do we have for ploppables? No, forget it. So we've got the higher density stuff, like all the Euro buildings, but I'm pretty sure if I drop one of these in, since it's high density, and this is a low density zoning, I don't think it's going to let that thing stay there. We could test it. We could try it. We can see if people move in. 3 times speed. We actually don't have a lot of residential demand right now, unfortunately. And we're moving people out as we destroy these buildings, so it looks like it might let that stay there. You know, but would that high density building be right there? Probably not, so where would it be? So let's see if we can do this. So or not do that, but maybe a little higher density. So let's look at townhouses. And do we have lower density townhouses? We do. Perfect. So let's get some of those. Let's take a look at this from a bird's eye view for a second. You kind of have a couple main cut-throughs. I'm actually really surprised I didn't connect this one, because that just seems like that should cut all the way through. And I don't think there's enough traffic up there that we have to worry about it causing issues with another intersection that close. We do have the pedestrian paths that were there, though. Let's do that. I had a gazebo there. Whoops. So let's do that. And we've got people that are crossing there, even though there's not technically a crosswalk. Don't tell them, though. We're gonna try and fix that real quick. So if you look at this from kind of overhead, and it's already getting a little dark, let me, of course, fix the time and pause the cycle like I do almost every episode, because I forget to do it. You know, think about where your main traffic throughways are. So you've got, you know, this road through here. And then this road through here is going to carry quite a bit of traffic through the zone. So it makes sense that those would be either a little bit commercial, or in fact, I think that first street that I showed you. Oh no, this piece is commercial. Did I? I did. So one thing that I may want to do, and I saw this in the edit, was I wanted this little pocket of green, what is it, organic and local produce. I wanted that over here. I didn't realize, even though I was talking about it at the time, that this was commercial. So now we have a green organic produce over here as well. It reduces some of the traffic, but just there's not a lot of building variety. So we may look at changing that. Let's do some townhouses. So let's make this street feel a little bit busier. So there's a townhouse there. There's a corner unit there. Kind of would actually prefer a better corner unit. Do we get a good corner? We have something that's a little bit more appropriate. There we go. Let's try and cram that in there. Do I have... That totally anarchied through that building. Let's do that and that. So we've got these two kind of identical buildings side by side. And that happens. That's totally fine. But let's see. Where can we get, you know... Do something like this. Will that fit all the way down? Yeah, so that kind of makes sense, right? On a street like that. That you'd have some townhouse apartments. Maybe, you know, what? Call it 1, 2, 3. Maybe there's 4 apartments in there. In each building. I mean, that's what makes sense. How many households do we actually have in these things? 1 of 1. That's a single person. That's a single family home? Okay, whatever. Because even like these, there's 3 households in that. Is this a level thing? No, those are already leveled. Okay, whatever. Try not to think about it too much. It makes your head hurt. Let's get another corner unit in right there. You know, we can leave some of these houses. We can convert some of these blocks a little bit if we want to. I don't like that corner piece. Let's get rid of that. Do that, and maybe that. And then let's use a little move it here. They have windows in the back? They do. Okay, I'll just undo that. Whatever. That's good. So that gets rid of some of that visual repetitiveness. It's subtle, it's small, but I mean, like, just look at this street, right? What is it? James. Look at James Street in comparison to this street right here, Chapman Street, that cuts across this way, and the repetitiveness of the buildings on the corners. It's tiny little things like that you can do to kind of help things out. Now, let's circle back and talk about something from a console perspective. A lot of you are here because of that, and half of you are here, let's be honest. I've done surveys on the channel, and a lot of you are here from some sort of console. So Switch, PC. PC is not a console. I can't even come up with 3 console names right now. Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. And the games are a little bit different, obviously, Switch being the most limited, but one of the things that we don't have access to on those is mods. So how can we kind of achieve the same thing? How can we get some different stuff to move in when we don't really have control over what moves in? Well, bulldoze stuff, okay? So hopefully we have demand. We don't though. So let's go bulldoze something that we do have demand for. Let's say we wanted, where do we have repetitive buildings? See, we have 3 of these same buildings right in a row. I'm going to leave these 2 that are next to one another because they do kind of blend in well together. But let's say we wanted something different to move in here. A couple things you can do. Just bulldoze it and let something else move in, first of all. If we get the same building, well, that stinks, but it happens. This is worse, in my opinion, because these 2 look kind of like a strip mall that's got some kind of consistent visual appeal. This is just 2 redundant buildings next to one another. So we'll bulldoze. We'll try it again. And the thing is, it might keep doing the same thing. If it does, break out your zoning tool. Okay, it moved the other building back in. So let's bulldoze, let's pause. Let's go to our zoning tool. And now what if we want a smaller lot to build in there? Well, de-zone some of that space. It's a long way around, but it works if you want to reduce some of that visual repetitiveness, right? We can wait for something to grow in here. And if we aren't getting anything moving in, maybe we can try a 3x4 space. You could try a couple, single spaces like this. Is it gonna, the second we zone this back up, is it gonna move in? So you could do little tricks like that. I'm not using this in the best example because we have the organic and local produce stamped down here, and it does not have a lot of different variances in buildings. Look at this. So we've got this little shop, healthy weeds, little shop, curvy, something different, healthy weeds, curvy, little shop, something different, healthy weeds, little shop. So there's so much repetitiveness there, and you can see obviously that is a problem with some of the buildings as well. So I'm fixing it by going in there with again some of the mods, but you can achieve at least breaking up some of that visual repetitiveness by going in there and forcing buildings to move out until the one that you want moves back in. So what's something else we can do? So let's look at why. There we go. Okay. Somehow I didn't have mouse control. I don't know what was going on there. Let's go over here and look at, since we have so much demand for it, let's look at our offices and let's try the exact same trick, right? So we've got these offices built in here. I'm not a huge fan of the European style buildings, and we've got 2 remarkably similar buildings here. So let's say we want to get rid of one of them. Again, we can delete this. Whoop. We can delete that and wait for something to move back in, which should happen really quick because of all the demand that we have for industrial, which office meets. Of course, I say that and nothing's moving in. It should have popped right away. Come on, game. Trying to teach people some stuff here. It does look like a lot is about to move in. There we go. So as long as it's not that building that we just got rid of, it kind of looks like it's gonna be. Sure enough, it is. It at least has a different Okay, no, it is a slightly different building. It's got a different billboard. If we don't kind of like what's happening here, so see how it's about to upgrade? So upgrade underway. It's going to change its physical appearance now. Once we've got something that we like, or just something different enough so that we don't have those repetitive textures, I'm going to go ahead and check historical building here. Historical building can still level up, but its visual appearance will be preserved. So if you see something that you really like that moves into your town, you can make it historical. It also gives you... Which one was it? This one? This one? This one? It also gives you a little extra "Are you sure?" pop-up when you try and delete something, as you saw with the first two. No confirmation, so that's nice. If there's something that you really like, by all means, save it into your city that way using historical. You can use high-rise ban as a policy to prevent the top level of buildings from moving in. That's not necessarily what you're going for, right? It's not necessarily the size that we're talking about here, especially when it's low density buildings that we're looking at. We're trying to get a specific building to move in, or at least specific buildings not to move in is more the case here. So let's come in here. I'm do the same thing real quick. I'll probably time lapse this one. There was me trying to move the keyboard around, not figuring out what I was doing. Custom. Do we want vanilla? Do we want growable? We can look for specific lot sizes if we want. But I'm going to come in here. I thought we could search based on level, or we used to be able to. That's okay, whatever. We got a bunch of trailer park assets. We got all the European assets, it looks like here. Lots and lots and lots of European assets. I feel like maybe that's part of that content creator pack. I'm gonna go here as we start to mix in some of the other buildings, and seriously? Let's do that. I must have anarchy turned on or something? There we go. And I'm not gonna overthink this too much. I am gonna orient them so that they're on this street. I think it makes more sense that they're on the main street. But we're gonna have some houses kind of mix and match in there. We get a little rinky-dink house next to the park. Maybe we move this one up here. No, it's okay to have some negative space once in a while. Don't feel that you have to fill everything in your map in. Do something smaller that'll actually fit there. That'll fit, right? Yeah. We'll do two next to one another. We can do another one right there. Let's do this instead. Let's do that. Space already occupied, so get rid of... Did I have a historical building there? That works. Do we have a massive fire? Wow, okay. Thanks, game. So we'll come down through here. We're going to move some stuff out, but we shouldn't get those corner units building back in, which would be nice. Should let us change some things up visually as part of this rebuild. I'll leave a couple of them here or there. Hopefully not directly across from one another. Let's do that. I realize I'm breaking stuff as I go, but that's okay. Other stuff will move in. Again, not the corner units, which is really what we're going for here. I was going to leave one of these corner units, but I don't want a corner unit right across from another one. So that's broken up a lot of that visual repetition. I think, right? I think that looks dramatically different. And that's really what I was going for here today. So in the last episode, I started to fine tune and tweak this particular neighborhood. But again, one of the things that really bugged me is all these missing trees. Add that to the list. Let's fix that real quick. Landscape brush? Just do the regular tree brush for now. I haven't set up a brush for this map, so. Let's do that. We'll do it this way. So let's box, draw. Kind of rotate and flip this around a little bit and just overlap some trees into that space. And then let's grab another chunk of trees. Like that, maybe? Little stuff like that, right, can make a big difference. All of a sudden, this area starts to feel a lot more fleshed out, I think. I'm biased. What do I know? But a quick one today. Hopefully that gave you some ideas, inspired some creativity. Like I said, I really got thinking that I want to cut off, these neighborhoods, kind of work on them piece by piece, try and make them feel a little bit more complete. Part of the final idea of the build. That looks like a lot of repetition, but that is elsewhere in the city. That is further south. Yeah, because I don't have any angled streets like that. Okay, so we're going to be repeating that process and reducing some of that visual repetitiveness. You can see those quartering units. The game loves those quartering units for whatever reason. So we'll try and break up some of that repetition, make it look a little bit smoother. I mean, repetition's okay. It happens in real life, but not to that extent. Hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, there's lots more like it. This is what I do here. Pretty laid back Let's Plays. There are some guided tutorials. There's some other content on other games and video essays from way back in the day that I'll eventually be getting back to. In fact, I'm going to be playing some other games very soon. I've got another game I want to play. I didn't want to pay for it, and it's on Game Pass now, so not a city builder, but a park builder of sorts on Game Pass. Maybe you know already what I'm talking about. Anyways, blast from my past, movie-wise, that's been turned into a park builder, so maybe you know where I'll be going next, but I'm definitely going to check that one out now that it is free on Game Pass. So we'll see where that goes. Anyways, lots more cities here. That's the important part. If you enjoyed, likes, comments, shares, they all help. They are all appreciated. Subscribe if you are new, and hit the bell to get notifications for updates in this and other series. If you'd like to support the channel, there's links to that and lots of other things in the description down below. Until the next one, though, this is Move the Mouse, signing off.